Hey everyone, welcome to another art criticism video. This is Afrodizzia. Let me make sure I'm getting the spelling of this right. Afrodizzia. Oh, interesting. I bet you there's a point to that. Dizia by Chris. Let's get him right, his name right. Chris Ofili. So Chris Ofili, Afrodizzia. I love this painting. I've never seen it before. My friend Rosa suggested it to me for you guys. And let's go ahead, let's get started with the first step, which is to just see. And again, this is where we do a really fast sketch. I am seeing a focal point up here, and I'm seeing visual rhythm, and I'm noticing a bunch of heads slowly getting bigger. So small, 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 big, 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 big. And I am just seeing so many heads of, I think, almost all African Americans, and it seems like there's all these squiggly lines going up in this direction, and they're bigger when they're farther away, so I got some incredible spatial depth. So much to talk about. And then I have circles and things and all sorts of things here, and you hear screaming, and it looks like every dot, my child is playing a recorder, every single dot is a head, is a face. Why does it look messy? Because I'm just seeing, and you could listen to the audio or listen to my kids screaming, but I would listen as I point things out. I mean, so much happening with color, right? But I'm seeing a focal point right here. Maybe I'll take a minute, get a pen or something, and write down that this says Miles Davis with some shadow under there. So clear form. So I don't know. I'm seeing like multiple focal points. There is another rock. Was this the rock that everything was going towards or not? I think this is the first rock I saw. So I'm seeing rocks. And this right here, can I zoom in? Cassius something. Cassius Clay? Cassius Clay. You don't always have to be right. Again, we're interpreting. We haven't looked up at all. Cassius Clay. I'm going to go back to a lighter value because I'm just sketching. Okay, and look down here. I mean, this is a focal point. I don't even know where to look. I bet you someone would argue against my painting, say there's no focal point. And here it says respect. So, I mean, wow, there's just so much happening. Maybe because this is a quick sketch, maybe I should take a second, block in some color. So if I get some red, like we got so much red happening here. Right? But then it's balanced, right? So my eye goes to the red first, but then it's balanced up here. And you could go ahead and do a little sketch of your marker. Try to capture all of this. This is so inspirational. We got some yellow greens coming in here. Oh, I love this. So I would say like dominant colors, red and green. And then we blend into fabulous that is not yellow. Jacob, read your book. Talking to my son, he's reading. We blend into some yellow, and then we got a lot of yellow happening here. We got yellow stripes though when it's farther away, and it seems like this important face down here is surrounded by yellow. Don't forget the orange. It's like a rainbow. Maybe that's why I like it so much. It's like such a rainbow. A lot of white. Okay, and then a lot of blue happening. We got a little bit of blue. Why did I say a lot? It's a little bit of blue. And obviously a lot of repetition of faces a lot of colored lines. It's almost like we have a mountain of line up here, you know, and this is kind of like the horizon, the end of the world or the beginning of the world. It feels very, very positive. And then we have all these squiggly converging lines going to the middle. I don't know, is Miles Davis the source? So that's kind of like the beginning. Go ahead and take a minute. Make sure you timed and you've only taken so much time. I'm seeing this guy has almost a halo of heads. So who is this person? And there is a face right there. Why is there a face on the back of his hair? This is a great way to pause your video, ask questions, say things that you're thinking. It's almost like every head is a stipple. And this is just like kind of like a gorgeous thing. Hi, yes, Sophie. Keep drawing.
Dinner's going to be ready in 10 minutes.
Okay, Jacob, go back to reading. We got turquoise. I mean, so much turquoise. I mean, this is just
I just really want to color something on that.
Yeah.
That's all I want to do.
Well, you can draw this painting with marker like my students are and anyone who's watching. And, you know, it's not, again, the point, guys, is for it to not be necessarily neat. The point of this exercise is to just see and think about color balance and weight and ask yourself, okay, what does this piece mean? And also, how can I steal this in my own art? How can I get ideas? I mean, I'm just seeing splashes of color, all of these splashes of lines, so many waves, you know, and I kind of just want to copy something like this, but I'm also wondering what it means.
I'm just talking. Can they hear you? Can they see you?
They can hear and see, yes, because this is an assignment.
But where's your video?
I'm not on video right here. So again, we got repetition of waves, and you could take more time to do this.
I want to draw one
But if you
want to draw one dot.
If you went ahead,
I want to draw one dot.
and if you drew
I want to draw one dot.
Okay. Are you not going to let me talk?
But I want to draw one dot.
If you drew this whole thing, it would take you forever. So pause your video. Just give yourself a few more minutes to go ahead, capture the color, the value. And I don't know, is anyone going to be brave enough to count how many heads? I mean, there's so many.
Did you draw that?
Okay, guys, hopefully you stopped your video and you took a break. Because I have so much happening in my quick sketch, my quick drawing, it might be hard to annotate it. So again, another way is you could divide your page into 4 sections, and you can go ahead and focus on one box being describe, one box being analyze. So that's step 1, that's step 2, that's step 3, that's step 4. Describe, analyze, interpret, where you figure out the theme, interpret. And if you want to do this, like structure for your fire rates, that's fine. And judgment, as we go through and we prove that we're working on analyzing works of art during this art criticism unit. So our first step is to describe. We've been doing that with a blue pen, but if you don't have a blue pen, don't worry about it. Just chug along. But as far as like describing, you are using the elements of art. So for me, the dominant element is color. Dominant element is color, and I could say strong, vibrant colors that attract the eye. A lot of warm colors too. Warm. You say yellow, red, some beautiful greens, some yellow greens. So dominant element, color. I would say the second element is the line, right? So much squiggly, I guess I could say squiggly and expressive line moving the eye throughout the piece. And we could say more about that in a second, but that's my third element. And then, yeah, what would be my other? I mean, color and line. I could talk about the dots. There's so much happening. I could talk about space because some of the heads seem closer and some seem farther away. So spatial depth. Okay, spatial depth is basically space, an element. Some heads seem close and some seem far away. So pause your video and talk. What else are you seeing here? Make sure you pause your video, you tell your partner, you write in the chat. What else are you seeing in this art piece? The rocks, the people, the pattern. What's going on in this art piece? Several rocks. Go ahead, pause, write in your journal. Sorry about that. Okay, guys, so here we are. We're on to our second step, which is analyze. And we want to think, okay, where's the focal point? My eye kind of goes up here and here. So I almost feel like this right here, this guy that's saying respect is the focal point, but then also this culmination of converging lines, right? So two focal points, top and bottom. This one's created more by size and kind of like a halo of people. It's almost like he's being circled. Created by size, and this one up here, this one's created by converging lines because we have, again, like we were saying earlier, all these squiggly lines kind of going one place. It's almost like this is his past and everything's coming to a culmination here. And converging lines. So interesting. So two focal points created by size and converging lines, and also like space. Let's see, is it visually, or is it unified? I mean, it is totally unified due to the repetition of the heads. Or characters, or people, right? And it tells me it makes me think of a lineage of people and a history. It's almost like it's trying to tell a story. Also, the color palette is limited. Kind of. I mean, we almost have every color of the rainbow, but we have dominant, warm colors mostly. A lot of red, green, a little bit of blue. Okay, so, and is it visually balanced? I would say yes, it is balanced because we have all this stuff happening, so many people here, and while we have fewer people here, they're larger and they take more focus. Also, this blue is visually heavy. So yes, visually balanced. It's asymmetrical balance. So I would say you got the visual weight here with all of this red, but the blue and all of this red kind of balances it out. So the line of symmetry is kind of there. So yes, balance because equal amount of intense colors on top and bottom. Help him clean his hands, Sophie. Also,
I lost the paintbrush.
larger heads. Stand up and look on bottom, even though there are less.
Here it is.
And then up on top, yeah, there are more heads, but there are fewer, and that creates a visual balance. Okay, so that's kind of like the analysis. There is, we could go into, Sophie, that's why you don't paint in your nice clothes. Movement, I would say there absolutely is movement created with these lines, having us go up and down, back and forth, because we're following these lines. So movement, up and down flow created by lines. Okay, so that's kind of like the beginning of the analysis. You could also say there are multiple focal points. Remember, focal points can be subjective, but so much repetition. We didn't even mention the repetition of the line to keep everything connected. Everything's interconnected. It's kind of like a system. Okay, guys, the next step as we deal with this work of art is to interpret it. Now, once again, I have not done any reading about this, but the word Afrodizzia, I mean, I see the word dizzy, right? And Afrodizzia, like the word not spelled like this, I think has something to do with love, I think, right? So you can make a question in your journal. Does this have to do with love? But then I see it spelled differently. I see dizzy and I see like Afro. So it's just kind of like, what are we saying about what it means to be Black in America? That's kind of what I'm seeing, right? So when you're interpreting something, at first, my advice is to go ahead and make a list of topics and kind of like main ideas. So, being Black in America, I'm seeing some of these faces, right? So emotions, right? Like what is the mood? Fear, being dizzy or disjointed, dizzy, disjointed. I mean, problems, right? But this idea of respect could be a topic as we're interpreting it. Again, guys, I might not be right? So we're just doing the thinking together. And I see all of these names, right? And words. So I think I see the word brown, right? So I don't know, honoring people, legacy and story. These are all things that I'm thinking that this might be. And I don't know, I mean, bro, I don't know very much about the 60s or the 70s, but it makes me think of that, so the past. So, you guys then for this step, whoa, I ran out of space. That's what's great about journals, would be to make a full sentence theme with all of these topics. With all of these topics that you've identified. What does it mean to be Black, to have emotions, fear, dizzy, disjointed, honoring people, legacy, strong past? So, can you use these to go ahead and make a sentence? So, The Artist by Chris Ofili. Okay. So, you start by saying the author, Chris Ofili, in my opinion, is showing the audience that, and then you would go ahead and you would start to, take a guess. Use your word bank. You made your own word bank. That to be Black in, excuse my handwriting, right neater, America is a rather scary, emotionally tumultuous, rather, I mean, you pick your emotion based on what you're thinking, overwhelming and Traumatizing, because we are drawn in because we think it's beautiful, but then I see her face by the focal point. Traumatizing experience because, and then you would go on, because, I don't know, let me look at my word bank. Because of the past history experienced by so many people, by so many. I don't love this theme, but it's a start and it's a theory, right? So this is my theme. Again, you write your own, self-monitor. Did I talk about some of my topics? To be Black in America, overwhelming, traumatized because of past history experienced by so many. And you don't have to use everything in here, but you could change the words and come back. But yeah, I'm just really drawn to this face now that there's just so much red. And then that makes me think of a history and a story and a narrative. So go ahead, make sure you pause your video and you've written your own theme. Again, we're going through the steps of describe, analyze, interpret, judge. So pause your videos, guys, write your own theme. Talk with each other. Talk with each other, talk with your partner. What could it mean? Hi guys. So our next step for judgment is to go ahead and say whether or not we think it's a good work of art. Okay, where's the focal point? My eye kind of goes. And guys, our last step is judgment, right? So this is pretty straightforward. Oh my goodness. I think this is a great work. And guys, I know this is an art class, so you're like, damn, I'm not going to write a whole essay. But I think this is a great work of art because, and you could just go ahead and do a list, but I want you to use art vocabulary, right? So it makes me feel, OMG, I didn't use any art vocab words. It helps me to have empathy. The color is intense. I can't write. The piece is visually balanced. Write neater. I'm talking to myself. Because we got all this visual weight here. My eye moves around. You could go on about how it's beautifully unified. It's beautiful to look at. And ultimately, it masterfully uses the elements and principles to help the audience begin to empathize, am I spelling that right, with the past struggles of African Americans. Okay, I think it's a great work of art because the color scheme is blah, blah, blah. And you could go on and you could say so much. There's so much that you could say about this. Fabulous, amazing, right? And you want to make it your own. Don't worry about the drawing being perfect, right? Just post everything you have. We just want to see that you're seeing and you're thinking about art and you're noticing things. And you ultimately are interpreting and judging a piece. And you're getting in that habit of thinking. So go ahead, post. It is fine if your fire rights look like this kind of structure. The color scheme, is kind of up to you, but this is the color scheme that I've been using as we go through. Describe, where you talk about what you see. Analyze, interpret, where you talk about the theme. and Judgement. So keep using these videos, guys, to go ahead and practice our criticism. Ultimately, you will decide what is the best work of art that we've looked at and why. And we're building up to that, guys. So I'm so proud of you. Make sure you post it. Have fun. And again, you're doing one a week. So deep breaths, everyone.